What if Flippity Flop, though? This is Stranger or Big Moose, and we're starting Act 2 of the Faultarian Journal, number 4 this time. It's super fantastic. This is our 4th one now. This is our 4th week in a row. It's been awesome. We've always done it on Saturday, but this week we're trying Thursday out just to see how it goes. And these 3 topics we got this time is hero builds. We got a lot of them. We got imagining a few items. I want to talk about Boris in particular. Thank you to Empty. For anyone that doesn't know who Empty is, he is a tester for Strange Matter Studios. I also believe he was a European pro player back in Paragon. And he has been nice enough to share some of his ideas for a few heroes that he thinks could use a bit of a rework or a bit of a reimagination. So that's what we're going to do. So, Chandler, please introduce yourself.
Hey, it's Chandler, or I've got to get swole, here play games, and talk about a community that's quickly growing.
Awesome. And we also have Kenny here. Kenny has been joining us for a while now. He's pretty awesome. He actually is the one that made this Faultarian Journal background that you see currently. So Kenny, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Kenny. I am waiting for Fault to come out.
It's May 8th, man. It's so close yet so far away.
Such a waiting game. I hate this game.
It is, yeah. And we're also waiting on Steve, who is S.A. Reed. I'm not entirely sure where he is. He said he's on his way, but he's currently not here. And thank you for the follow, DCR. I really appreciate it. I lost my train of thought with that fellow. Yeah, I was talking about Steve. He'll be joining us at some point whenever he gets back.
Yo.
Steve's here. Steve is here. Steve, please introduce yourself for any new viewers in the audience.
Howdy, my name is Steven. Also go by S.A. Reed. Greatest crunch main you'll ever see.
Okay.
Me.
What happened to your other intro? The good stuff.
Is I think is that not the
That's
Did
it.
I say something?
No. That's good. For anyone that doesn't know, we are not affiliated with Strange Matter Studios whatsoever. We have been gracious enough to get a few testers in here and there, and a dev or two to help us talk about the stuff over the last few weeks. And thank you to all of them. But we are not affiliated with them. I just wanted to clear that up because some people thought we were. And yeah, we are just a consumer, just like the majority of the audience there. And we are just passionate Paragon and now Fault players. So, let's get it started. So let's bring up our hero builds. So to start, we're going to bring up our own hero builds, and then we're going to move into empties there. Because we have a few of our own that we came up with. When I say we, I should say Chandler, because Chandler came up with them.
Well, it's definitely loose shells of what these characters could be.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are just reworked, other things are completely changed, but it's definitely more so created right now kind of to get you guys to give opinions and sort of see what people like, start conversations about these characters.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, that's good. 1 second. I'm going to try to do something a bit fancy this time. A bit fancy. See if I can do it there. Awesome. So we're going to have some gameplay up in the corner from Alpha 3 Weekend. And we're also going to talk about these heroes. So the first hero that we have up on the board is Revenant. For anyone that doesn't know who Revenant was, he was what we would call a hybrid carry in Paragon. He was one of the later heroes to come up. When he came out, he was absolutely fantastic. He got a bit nerfed because he was a bit too good. And even at the end of Paragon's death, he was still a top carry. And what made him so good was he was probably the best 1v1er in the game. Like, he was so good at soloing. And that is, like, carriers are always good at soloing, but usually they don't have the ability to stay alive or not do enough damage fast enough or whatever it may be. But then there's Revenant, which Even though he'd never had really a stun in his kit, I think he had like a micro stun. Uh, he was able to sustain long enough to 1v1 pretty much anybody. I would even go as far on go on a limb to say that uh, he might have been better at Countess at 1v1ing. And he also looks super badass. What do you guys think about Revenant? Did you guys like Revenant? Do you guys dislike him when he first came out? Do you think he was broken the whole game, the whole Paragon life?
What kind of escape did he have?
His ult. If you consider his ult an escape, you could use it. So you could use his ult. Um, so like if you're in a team fight, get ganked, you just ult someone, you just run away. If they can't catch you, sometimes they can't catch you, so it's useless. But yeah.
Yeah. He never had like a devoted escape though.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of felt like that kind of played into his, his kit, because it was always one of those things where he could stay pretty far away, and like for example, like he had that ability where he shot the little missiles out.
Hmm.
So for him, it was always like if someone came up to you, it was instead of running away, you were incentivized to save your ult for that. You know what I mean? So that you couldn't get ganked by like other people coming in, and then it just makes sure it's a 1v1.
Hmm.
And it encouraged to not, I guess, move out of position even more. I always thought Revenant was a cool character. I was never that good with him. I just never really got the hang of him. I've never been really good at ranged heroes. But I felt like he was an awesome addition to the roster because he looked cool, and I thought his kit was super unique.
It is. It is super unique.
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure he was the only carry I played. It
really?
was on the rare cases, yeah.
Yeah. He became like a top pick, like especially like at the high levels. Like he was like a picker ban character
I only
starting
picked
the
him
game.
because he was easy to play.
He was very easy to play. This is when they started rolling out the characters that they're like, okay, we're gonna come up with a few characters to make the console people a bit better because they're a bit easier to use and less skill shot. Which
Yeah.
you can argue is a good thing, but then you can also argue that it just makes it easier for a PC player. Also, it's not that it's easier for PS4 players; that it's easier for everyone. So, anywho, yeah. So let's get right into it. So this is Chandler's idea. Gotta get swole. Me and Steve looked it over a little bit, and we discussed and did a few changes, but we left a few things in just for a bit of discussion. So let's go in. So as everyone knows, in Paragon at the end of the game, there was no passives. Passives didn't exist in Paragon. I think they did way back in Legacy, but they definitely didn't in version 45. So we gave him a passive because Fault has made the commitment that they're giving every hero a passive. So what we have is his passive Nether Rounds. Revenant's last round in the chamber deals critical strikes for bonus basic damage. If I'm not mistaken, this was a part of his old ability. One of his old abilities, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was one of the abilities that uh I can't remember. It was, yeah, I think it was like Hellfire rounds or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
So yeah, so we basically just took that portion of one of his old abilities and moved it to his passive slot. And then we went with his LMB, so basically his basic attack. Range basic attack, dealing basic damage. Revenant's hand cannon only holds 4 bullets on the 4th bullet. When the 4th bullet is fired, Revenant automatically reloads his hand cannon. Bonus attack speed decreases reload speed, but doesn't affect fire rate. So that's one thing that made Revenant really unique is attack speed actually didn't make his shot shoot faster. It just made him reload faster, which was like completely unique to him. Uh, so his RMB, Revenant reloads 4 bullets into the hand cannon. Simple as that. I do believe his passive and RMB used to be together, but we just moved his RMB to the passive slot to try to give him Yeah, just a bit of balance, I suppose. And then we got his Q. So Revenant unleashes 8 ethereal missiles that home to random targets within a wide cone, dealing ability damage. It actually used to be 10 in Paragon, so it used to be 10 missiles. And these are those lock-on missiles that you could not miss with. That they did a lot of damage, to say the least.
That was pretty broken.
Yeah. Chandler, why did you decide to bring it down a little bit?
Well, sort of because people were using them sort of in solo lane and whatnot. When you had 10 of them, people were also using them just not even on heroes. They were just straight up using them on like minions.
Mhm.
And when you're able to send 10 of those out, you're just wave clearing more of those. And then it all compounded to the point where like he did become way too overwhelming. So just a bit of a nerf on that. Like obviously, because again, reworking any of these characters, it has to be within their animations. So like those lock-on missiles are always going to be a thing. But it's like, okay, how do you make it a little more reasonable? Like if they get, let's say, just a little bit of a boost in damage per missile, but there's just not as many targets that they can lock onto at the exact same time.
Mhm. Yeah,
I thought that would
and
kind of help.
that's true, right? You couldn't use his basic attack while you're using his missiles, but his missiles did generate slightly better wave clear for him. And the big thing is for me was how the missiles locked on. Like right when you think they're about to get away because you got to reload your pistol, or because you miss a basic, you can hit this button and do the equivalent of 4 basic attacks. You know what I mean? And that to me is a bit broken. It is very unique to Revenant though, so we kept it in there. We didn't discuss about making it a skill shot, but there might be some potential and debate about making it a skill shot. Now his E is completely different, if I'm not mistaken. So what we have here is his E throws an AoE nether grenade that disables enemy abilities for 4 seconds. So essentially, he throws a grenade and has a silence. What do you guys think of that?
Mm. So he's kind of like an anti-mage type of deal.
I like the silence.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
like
Silencing is
that.
cool because like Richter was one of the only characters with silence.
Hmm.
So I think silencing is a really like I like silencing a lot.
Hmm.
I guess it's kind of ironic considering like Crunch was nothing without his abilities.
Yeah.
Um and I think I don't know.
Greg,
I
can you
think
scroll up a little bit just so you can see
Yes, I
that
can do
ability
that.
on screen?
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
But yeah, so it kind of reminds me of like the Revenant from Apex Legends as well. He has a silence bomb as well.
Hmm.
Um I think having something that because it's not hard CC and it's not even really CC, but it is at the same time, I guess. Like
Hmm.
it more so asks for people to be conscious and have to rely upon like their awareness of what certain characters are doing and when they're activating their abilities. I think it adds another layer of complexity to his kit that I feel like a lot of carries they don't get. I find sometimes carry kits are very straightforward and to me it gets kind of boring. That's kind of why I always enjoyed playing Seraph, as I felt like it was a very diverse kit and there was a bunch of different stuff that I could do. So I think if they added potentially some kind of silence to Revenant, that would be actually pretty cool. I think it's a good idea.
I liked it too, rather than just targeting somebody to take some movement speed away from them when you hit them.
Hmm.
Because I think that's what the E used to be. It just used to be a scar or something like that.
Yeah, it used to be something like that. Yeah. And then, of course, Revenant pulls himself and his target into the Nether Realm, dealing ability damage and applying a root for 1 second. Killing his opponent inside the Nether Realm grants bonus gold. Was the root in his original alt, or is that new?
No,
Yeah, that was
that's
the
new.
same. I took something away. I forget what I took away. There was just something else that compounded on it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, what
Wait,
I
his alt had a root?
Yeah, when you hit them with it, it rooted them.
I don't
That was
remember.
always there.
yeah, there was something. There was something. I think it was a micro stun of some kind. But anywho, I might be mistaken. Uh,
You can pull up the build on like the old Paragon build if
Oh
you
yeah,
want.
it's a good point.
ooh, yeah, yeah. We can do that. Hang on, actually, I think I got a video of him.
Yeah, if you bring a video up, make sure to take the other video down.